What is going on today, guys? Tomcat here, and today I'm bringing you guys my little first impressions, I guess you could say, of the Titanfall beta. Now, I've been following Titanfall for a little while, like actually ever since it was launched, and I've been really quite excited about it, especially because of the people that have been developing it, because of their heavy involvement in Call of Duty 4, which is one of my favorite, if not my favorite shooter of all time. Now, jumping right into Titanfall was a little bit tricky, I guess you could say, since it's different than a lot of the other shooters out there on the market. It's almost like you took Halo and Call of Duty. I know that's kind of general, but you took Halo and Call of Duty and then stuck a little bit of Mirror's Edge in with it, because you've got the parkour and the free-running elements, but they kind of, it's not like a separate part of the game. You don't feel like you're taken out of the game to actually experience those elements, because that's honestly something I was a little worried about actually going into this game. It was kind of like, oh no, they're going to try and implement parkour into a shooter, and it's going to feel clunky and kind of messy, but it doesn't. It doesn't feel clunky, and it doesn't feel messy, and honestly, it doesn't really feel like it's added on at all. It just feels natural, and I feel like that to me is a major accomplishment, because when you try to add something like that into a shooter, usually you start to have issues, and I ran into a huge group of enemies here. I was just spraying and praying at this point, but like I was saying though, when you add something like that into a shooter, it's kind of, you're kind of taking a big risk, because that's outside of the normal realm of what you would see in shooters. I mean, sure, you have similar things, but a lot of them, like I said, a lot of systems like that have felt clunky and not very natural in the past. Now, what you're seeing right now is actually we're inside a Titan, and the Titan gameplay is one of the highlights of this game, because once you get access to a Titan, it goes from just normal, I guess you could say, usual PvP, standard kind of shooter PvP, to these mech battles that are absolutely insane and intense. It's just absolutely crazy once you get into these mech battles, because everything's coming at you all over the place, and sometimes it's a little overwhelming. I know in my first mech battle, or Titan battle, whatever you want to call it, I felt extremely overwhelmed. I had no idea what I was doing, but even then, when you're first experiencing it, you're still having a good time. This game is fun. Even if you're not doing so well in the game, it's actually a really fun shooter, and it's hard to pull that off in a shooter, and I feel like it's got some elements that Call of Duty players are going to be familiar with, because, like, for example, if you have been a career Call of Duty player for, like, the past, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, you're going to be able to jump into Titanfall and use at least the basic elements pretty easily. Now, they do provide a tutorial in the beta, which does walk you through the free-running elements and the parkour elements, and how to use some of the various stealth abilities. And in fact, actually, if you see on the left of the HUD, you can see the LB button, and what that does is it activates a cloaking device, which lasts for a certain amount of time, and you're completely cloaked, well, not completely cloaked, you're just kind of transparent. You can sort of be seen, but it's very difficult to see you. So you become transparent until either the meter runs out or until you fire, because if you fire, it completely disengages. It completely disengages, and you're done. And I am not the greatest at Titan combat yet. I eject quite a bit in Titan combat, but I'm just gonna have to. I feel like I'm just gonna have to play the game a little bit more just to get used to the Titan combat more, because as you can see, I've ejected the last couple of times in the last couple of Titan battles. But the cool thing about these abilities, especially the ability to eject, is the fact that you can eject mid-battle, and it shoots you way up in the air, way out of, well out of the reach of the other Titan that you're fighting, and kind of gives you this second chance almost. It's almost like going between your normal character's life and your Titan's life. It's almost like having two characters that you're playing at the same time. And if you get out of your Titan before it's finished off, then it will actually fight for you on its own and become automated, which is another interesting feature, because the automated Titans, they do a decent job of protecting you. They're nowhere near as good as a human-operated Titan would be, but they are definitely up there. They're definitely, the AI is pretty decent. I mean, it's not the smartest AI in the world, but it is pretty decent AI. And did I mention the graphics? the graphics look really, really nice. We're playing on the Xbox One version here, not the PC version. We're playing the Xbox One beta, and the graphics look great. I have absolutely nothing to complain about on the graphics front. Everything runs smoothly for the most part, except for sometimes there were a couple of drops, and I couldn't tell if they were either frame rate drops or lag spikes. It was kind of hard to tell, because usually the game's frame rate seemed like it was running pretty well. It seemed to be running decently well, never really dipping, and I feel like anytime when the game would jump, I feel like it was the result of lag and not the result of the actual frame rate, because the frame rate seemed pretty smooth all the time. There was never any drop, and another thing that I really enjoyed about this game was the sense of style. I mean, a lot of shooters these days, they tend to lack a sense of style, but this game actually, Titanfall, from what I've played of it, it has this really cool sense of style that really pulls you into the game, and it's a surprising thing, and it's kind of hard to, I wouldn't say hard, but it's something that you kind of have to, you get into the game, and you're like, wow, there's a style here, there's personality here, there's a style here, there's real effort here, and I'm really excited. This beta has gotten me really, really excited for the full game, and I'm definitely going to be playing it when it actually releases on March 11th, I believe. I want to say it's March 11th. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but extremely excited for the full game. And also, another thing that I really enjoyed about the beta was oh gosh, what is it? The specific name for what I'm referring to. Specific name for what I'm referring to. The hit registration. The hit registration, or bullet registration, whatever you want to call it, is very, very good. I really, really liked it. It's very, very immediate, very direct. There's no, there doesn't seem to be any delay whatsoever. As long as you're running a proper connection, then there isn't going to be really any bullet delay whatsoever. I mean, there is always going to be a little bit of bullet delay in any kind of online shooter, but it was very minimal. It was very minimal, and the hit registration was very, very good. Whenever I was aiming at an opponent, it would hit that opponent exactly where I was aiming. There was no aim and then pray and then aim and then hope and then pray that it would hit. No, if you're pointing that gun at your opponent, it is gonna hit. It's gonna hit, unless, I mean, obviously, unless you're on a one-bar connection or something. But even when I was on a one-bar connection earlier, it was actually really decent. So, if you guys enjoyed this first look at the Titanfall beta, don't forget to leave me a like. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys thought of it. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later. And actually, don't forget to try this beta out, because it's pretty legit.